Hello, this is Harry Margolis. Welcome to Estate Planning 101 and our course today on revocable trusts. So what are trusts good for? What are revocable trusts good for? They're good for asset management, incapacity in case you, the grantor, becomes incapacitated, avoiding probate, and fine-tuning what happens after death. I'm going to talk about all that in a minute, but first let me say a few words about what is a trust. A trust is a legal entity that's created under the terms of a trust document, and it's designed to achieve a number of purposes. But basically, it's a new legal entity with a number of players who we're going to get into who manage it for the benefit of certain beneficiaries. And revocable trusts have certain terms, irrevocable ones have others. We're only going to talk about revocable trusts today. And so what are they good for? As I said, asset management. One of the best benefits of having a trust we find is that clients, when you create a revocable trust, you need to fund it. So you need to change title of your assets into the name of the trust. And just doing that helps our clients get a hold of what they own, because often over a lifetime, people accumulate accounts in lots of different places, and they often don't know exactly what their assets are. And they can't manage them very well. For instance, how much should be in bonds, how much should be in stock or index funds, because they don't have a good picture of what it is. And when you fund a trust, you set up an account at a bank or an investment company, and you transfer all your assets into it. And doing that consolidates them, and it gives you a better chance to manage them. If you become incapacitated, then your successor trustee, or if you have a co-trustee, whoever it is, can then manage those assets for you, and it's much more seamless than using a durable power of attorney. When you pass away, the trust assets pass to whoever you say in the trust without going through probate, avoiding that administrative burden and delay. And if you don't want them to go outright to them, the trust can say whatever you want about how the assets are held and how they are used for them. For instance, if you have minor children or grandchildren, you can provide that the trust will continue until they reach a certain age and the assets are then distributed. Or if you're in a second marriage and you want the assets to be available to your spouse for his or her needs during his or her life, but you don't want them to belong to them because after they die, you want them to go to your children, you can say that in your trust. So there are a lot of ways you can fine tune what happens to your assets after you pass away. As I said, there are a number of players in a trust. The first is the grantor, the person who creates the trust and sets the rules. The next is the trustee, the person who manages the assets under those rules. And finally, they're the beneficiaries. And at first, they all may be the same people. You may be the trustee of your own trust that you created, and you may be the beneficiary during your life with other people named as beneficiaries after you die. Then as you get older, you may name a co-trustee, and ultimately, if you do become incapacitated, that trustee may take over from you. Choice of trustee is one of the most difficult choices. So you need to choose someone you trust, who has the time, energy, and ability and attention span to carry out all the duties of a trustee. And you may name them as a successor trustee, but as I alluded to before, we really like, as our clients get older, that they name co-trustees, because if someone's already on the accounts and you become incapacitated, they can just step in. They don't have to prove who they are to the bank or financial institution. In addition, we find that a lot of seniors are targets for scammers. And if somebody's on the trust already as co-trustee, they have access to the accounts, and if money's going out in a way that it shouldn't, they'll see and hopefully can put a stop to it before things get too far along. Revocable trusts are really easy while you're alive in terms of taxation. You actually use your own Social Security number for the trust accounts, and you just report them as you have all along in terms of your income from dividends and interest, or capital gains if you sell the assets. And then after you pass away, if the trust continues, then it becomes an irrevocable trust, which can get confusing, because if it's the Joe Blow Revocable Trust and it's continuing for Joe Blow's children and grandchildren, it's now irrevocable, no matter what the title says. And at that point, it has to get its own tax identification number and file its own tax return. So those are the basic rules of revocable trusts, but they are documents that can be as creative as you are about how they will be used, and especially what will happen after you pass away with the assets in your trust and the rules that you set out in your trust document. We have a lot of resources. If you have more questions about this or anything else on estate planning, on our website at margolis.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me on my other website, www.askharry.info. And if you like assistance in estate planning or have any questions, get in touch with us at firm@margolis.com or by phone at 781-705-6400. Thank you for listening today.